Welcome to the most listened to golf in the world, the Fairways of Life show, on air, online, and around the world, with the most candid interviews, unforgettable stories, taking you beyond the ropes. Here's your host, New York Times best-selling author, Matt Adams.
Thankful, just thankful that I was a part of it, thankful that I accomplished something that I've always wanted to accomplish as a kid. Gratitude and thanks.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? Anytime you're going to have someone that wins and wins a major championship, you're going to have the contrast between the gratitude that goes with it and the disappointment that we saw from those that did not win, that didn't do enough to close, namely Rory McIlroy with 3 bogeys in his final 4 holes. And remember, he got up and down to save his par at 17 as well. Bryson DeChambeau did what he needed to do. There you can see the final leaderboard as we welcome you to our live broadcast, because this week we are broadcasting live from here at TPC River Highlands, the Travelers Championship, the signature event that does have a great field. Everybody's all excited about everything that's been going on here this week, and we will talk about that in today's show. But because this is the first time that we're having a chance to share it with all of you guys from coast to coast in this medium, we want to talk about what happened in this past week, because what Bryson DeChambeau did was simply incredible. Remember, he hits that drive on 18. It goes left, and it goes into and through the wire grass and ends up settling right near a root. And the complication for Bryson was that he also had branches above him. He has a very upright swing. Remember, his clubs are different than everybody else's. They're about 6 degrees upright on top of that. And he was trying to find a way that he could advance the ball. And when he was finally able to decide what he was going to do, and he blasted the ball from that very difficult lie on the left side of the fairway on 18, it ended up plummeting down into that bunker. Now, that was a bunker that was front right of the green complex where nobody had been able to get up and down and save par. And then Bryson faced this shot. Probably one of the most difficult shots in golf in general, full stop, and he hit this incredible shot. He knew it. Watch him as he comes out of the bunker. He's like, yeah, I've given myself a chance to win my second U.S. Open by sinking this putt. He does it. He expresses that. Talk about gratitude and excitement. And I love this camera angle because you could see the gallery and the grandstands behind him. He shared so much of the experience with the fans this week. But it's like watching somebody on stage. It's like watching Mick Jagger or something. Watch the way that he plays to the camera here coming up. This is why I love this perspective. Right there. And that was sharing it with everybody at home as well. Different angles of the same. Bryson DeChambeau doing what he needed to do. Yeah. He wasn't the most accurate off the tee, but when he found himself mired in that wire grass, save for a couple occasions, notably, as I just mentioned, on 18, he was able to get the club on the back of the golf ball and advance it along the lines that he wanted to. And when it didn't end up exactly where it would be most advantageous to him, he was able to get up and down and do what he had to do. Yeah, you can take a look at his leaderboard coming up, or his scorecard coming up here, because he still had 3 bogeys on the day. In fact, when he went out on his opening 9, I love this video. It is so awesome. He was 1 over. He makes that birdie at 10, and it's like, okay, he's starting to kind of settle down here. Rory was on a tear through this stretch. He makes a bogey at 12, comes right back with a birdie at 13. And then he had that bogey at 15. And, of course, in front of him was Rory McIlroy. But by the time that Bryson made that bogey at 15, we were already starting to see Rory wobble a little bit and leak some oil coming in. And that's a whole nother discussion, which I'm looking forward to having with you guys, too, about this balance between, do you look upon a victory such as this and go, well, from a Rory McIlroy perspective, is this about what he didn't do? Or from a Bryson DeChambeau perspective, is this about what he did do? In other words, did Rory McIlroy give this U.S. Open to Bryson DeChambeau? Heated debate, of course, has been going on about that for the hours since victory was secured by Bryson DeChambeau, and I think it's a fair discussion to have. Bryson DeChambeau's bio, he is, of course, playing on the LIV Tour right now. He's a 2-time U.S. Open champion, 2020 at Wingfoot and 2024 at course number 2 at Pinehurst. 9 PGA Tour wins before he went to LIV. He's won a couple of times on LIV. He's represented the United States in Ryder Cup team twice. He was on the 2019 U.S. President's Cup team as well. Really impressive record across the board. When you think about what he's done in the majors this year, and you saw it on that graphic, that it's impressive. Piece of sixth place at the Masters, second at the PGA Championship. He wins this U.S. Open, and we still have one more major before us at Royal Troon. Is there reason to believe that Bryson couldn't contend at Royal Troon with as well? He is striking the ball right now, and the confidence surely that he has from this point. So for Bryson DeChambeau, another conversation. We heard a lot about it throughout the course of last week, where there was a discussion of, well, this is a different Bryson that we knew before. Yeah, a different maturity, different engagement, different comfort in his own skin. I'm looking forward to going down that road as well and reflecting on it all. And as we are here at this Travelers Championship, as I mentioned, a signature event such as it is, we're looking forward to diving a little bit deeper about where we are this week. So we have a lot to cover with you on today's show. But first, we're going to take you into the press room. This is our best of Bryson's press conference. This is John and Andrew and Dom putting together the pieces that they thought would be most significant, because I thought it was significant that at this U.S. Open, thankfully, so much was done to honor the memory of Payne Stewart. It was 25 years on that he made that putt at 18. And what's important, I think, for people to remember is that when he made that putt at 18 to win in 1999, that was for par. He got in trouble off the tee, just like Bryson did. Payne Stewart has always been a hero to Bryson DeChambeau because of that connection at SMU. Remember, he used to wear the cap that a lot of people now are calling a Payne Stewart-style cap. Some people call it a Ben Hogan-style cap. There are various names for it. Flat cap is probably the official name for it, if you please. But it was so cool, I thought, that Payne Stewart was honored in this setting. So when Bryson spoke to the media, he talked about that connection and so much more.
I'm so happy I got that shot up and down on 18. Oh, man. I didn't want to finish second again. PGA really stung. Xander played magnificent. I wanted to get this one done, especially at such a special place that means so much to me and SMU and my dad, what Payne meant to him. 1000th USGA championship. I mean, just stack them on top. That bunker shot was the shot of my life. And I'll forever be thankful that I've got longer wedges so I can hit it farther and get it out and get it up there next to the hole. I don't know what to think. It fully hasn't sunk in yet, but I just want everybody to enjoy it as well. As much as it is heartbreak for some people, I mean, you know, it was heartbreak for me at the PGA, and I really wanted this one. And I turned the corner and saw I was a couple back, and I said, nope, I'm not going to let that happen. I need to focus on figuring out how to make this happen. And I was a little lucky. Rory didn't make a couple putts that he could have coming in, and I had an amazing up and down in the last. I don't know what else to say. It's a dream come true. Yeah, I hit a good putt on 15, 16, 17 actually. I hit a good putt even though it was short. I thought it was faster. And, you know, 15 really stung. I had an easy putt. I was trying to go for it a little bit, got a little aggressive and hit it 3 feet by, and that's something you don't do in Major Championship Sunday. And I just consequently misread it, underread it, and lipped out on the edge. But righted the ship, hit a great drive, hit a great second shot in there. Iron play was fantastic today. And thought I made it. All I was focused on was myself. Every once in a while I could hear Rory and the Rory chants and what he was doing, so I knew what he did based on the roars. And that was actually kind of fun because it gave me the knowledge like what I had to do. And I just, every time I got over the ball, I said, just focus. You've done this before. You can do it again. In the back of my mind, my dad pushing me, pain was on the back of my mind as well, and I wanted to do it for them. I was actually concerned I might hurt myself heading out of that. I was trying to get TIO relief, but didn't have anything in my way, unfortunately. And I was trying to run it left of that bunker, run it up the green and give myself a 2-putt. That's what I was trying to do, and I had no backswing. And at a certain point in time, I'm just like, okay, I just got to hack it, and hopefully it'll go down the line, but it didn't. It cut, and it went in the bunker. One of the worst places that I could have been, but Jibo just said, okay, Bryson, just get it up and down. That's all you got to do. Just get it up and down. You've done this plenty of times before. You've seen some crazy shots from you from 50 yards out of a bunker. And I said, you're right. I need a 55 degree, let's do it. First and foremost, I respect and understand people's opinions. I mean, I was knocked pretty hard down in 2022 for numerous reasons, numerous scenarios, and numerous things. And I had some great friends and great people around me tell me, keep going, keep pushing. And so I dug myself out of a pretty deep hole. Golf swing wasn't doing well. Ball striking was terrible. Putting wasn't great. I had Paul, who's on the Crushers, Paul, Casey, Anirban Lahiri, and Charles Howell just continuing to push me in the right direction. And that was actually a massive help to get me in the right mind frame from such a low point in my life. People just continue to say, dude, you're good. Like, don't worry about it. You got a lot of great life to live. There's more to life than golf. So how I've grown, I've realized that there's a lot more to life than just golf. And treating others, treating yourself first and foremost, respecting yourself is super important to being able to treat others with respect as well. And that's one of the big things that I've learned. And I'm not perfect. I'm a human. Everyone's human. And certainly those low moments have helped establish a new mind frame of who I am, what's expected, what I can do, and what I want to do in my life. And so to answer your question quite frankly, it's what have I learned? Having the right people around you.
And how would you respond to people who would say that your sort of demonstrative responses and celebrations out there are an act or a shtick?
No, that's my passion. I mean, Tiger is an idol of mine. He's my hero still. And the way he reacted on the golf course, pain, the way he did, and numerous others that have inspired generations that are now here, have allowed that to be unique and cool. And from my perspective, I'm just passionate. I really care about doing well out here and showing the fans a side of me that was locked up for so long. I go back to being a kid. So when I was a kid, I used to throw golf balls just the worst lies outside of the fairway and just learn to hit out of the worst situations to see what I could do. And that sparked a lot of my creativity. But then I'd go back and work on the mechanics really hard. So I had this unique childhood experience in golf of working on really quirky, weird things, and then also working super hard on the mechanics, trying to be as machine-like as possible. So I feel like that combination allows, it just pretty much shows what I did today. Like in certain situations where I have no control over what's going to happen, you got to just figure out how to will it and get it done. And so that creativity just gets sparked. When the greens are not perfectly flat and they're not glass and they're there's some little bumps and whatnot, being imaginative, seeing how that ball is going to curve over that edge and just really getting into it in your mind is what I focus on. So there is a bit of creativity in me, even though I try to be mechanical.
Bryson DeChambeau addressing the media after his victory at Pinehurst in the 124th U.S. Open. The Fairways of Life show is presented by the PGA Tour Superstore. They are the #1 golf retailer from coast to coast because of their big, beautiful stores where you can find anything that you need, whatever your game needs. And the best part of it to me is that you're shopping with pros. I know you can get golf equipment anywhere, But when you get it at the PGA Tour Superstore, you get massive variety, and you're dealing with professionals who are vested in ensuring that you get what is the best for you and your game. Check it out when you get a chance. PGA Tour Superstore.com is their website, or just stroll into any of their stores. PGA Tour Superstore, your happy place.
Every January, PGA Tour Superstore pros meet every manufacturer, learn about the latest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together hit over 100,000 balls. All so they can get you the perfect fit.
In Ireland, golf is more than just a game. Come and experience our world-famous links courses and our world-famous parkland courses, all set alongside world-famous scenery. And visit our world-famous historic sites. And while you're here, enjoy our world-famous hospitality. Fill your heart with Ireland at ireland.com/golf.
Ben Hogan Golf Equipment is back. Established in 1953, we serve golfers who demand excellence of their equipment. Designed by the game's best engineers, forged in the world's best foundries, and built to order in the USA. Don't settle for off-the-rack disappointment. Elevate your game with custom clubs at direct consumer pricing. Exclusively at benhogangolf.com. That's benhogangolf.com.
The Gen 6 iron is a culmination of everything that we have learned as a team, the absolute best golf club I've ever hit. It's something special. Say hello to the new PXG Gen 6 iron. The longest, most accurate irons we've ever made. They go higher and farther than any iron that I have hit to date, and they're so easy to hit. Super excited for the consumer to try these. They're gonna love them.
PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Baseball? Nah. Football? Done it. I think I'm going to go after PGA Tour.
Playing on the PGA Tour is not easy. But you know what is easy? Hitting the 524 series from Tour Edge.
Hitting linebackers and home runs used to be easy.
Out here, you're going to need all the easy you can get. Introducing the 524 series from Tour Edge. The easiest clubs you'll ever hit. Even the best players in the world can use a little easy.
I like the sound of that. Look out, PGA Tour.
Pound for pound, nothing comes close.
Boyne Golf provides the ultimate world-class golf destination with 10 championship-caliber courses spanning 3 resorts. Centered in Michigan's northern Lower Peninsula, the courses are the products of some of the game's masters, including Robert Trent Jones Sr., Arthur Hills, and Donald Ross. From the all-inclusive vacation packages, elite instruction with the Boyne Golf Academy, tournaments, and so much more, Boyne Golf truly offers an unrivaled Michigan golf vacation experience. Just log on to BoyneGolf.com. It's absolutely beautiful, isn't it? TravelersChampionship.com, folks. Tickets are still available. This event is so unique for so many reasons. And yes, TPC River Highlands is a big part of it. Andy Bessette is the Executive Vice President and Chief Administrative Officer for Travelers. We've been having these get-togethers now, Andy. I don't even know how many years it has been.
Many, Matt. A long time.
A long time, and rightfully so. We've seen the evolution of this event to a point now that it is a signature event. Yeah. And so I love asking you this question, Andy. If we bump into each other at an airport someplace, I didn't know who you were, sitting next to each other, and you go, oh, well, among things we do is the Travelers Championship. And I said, what's the Travelers Championship? What would the answer be?
I would say we're the best golf tournament on the PGA Tour, and we've been working for 18 years to be world class, and now we are world class. We are the best.
That perspective, the best, is something that you guys work on and work on and work on and work on. And I think the reason why you've accomplished it is because you never seem to settle on your laurels. No matter what you do, like the next day, and this will be next Monday, right? You'll sit back and go, what can we do better?
Yeah, and you know, Matt, I've said this to you many times. As a former athlete, I know one thing. I only know get better, get better, get better. And our motto for this will be our 18th tournament this year. And all I know is don't accept the status quo. Don't accept where you're at today. Always strive to be better. And look every year for things. Matter of fact, as my team got ready for this week, we talked about what should everybody be doing. And I said to everyone, like there's 50 of us in total between Nathan, Grube staff, and mine. I said, next week or when you're working on the tournament, go out and look at what can we do better around the tournament. I don't care if it's in your bailiwick or not. Go look at the whole tournament and come up with ideas of how we can be better next year.
All right, so Andy was talking about him being an athlete. I want to define that for those of you who don't know. He was a U.S. Olympic athlete. And to that standpoint, given that fact that we have an Olympic year before us, it speaks to an athlete's mentality.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about a corporate mentality for a second.
Yeah, sure.
This Travelers Championship, for travelers, why do you do it? What's in it for the corporation?
And the reason we decided, Alan Schnitzer, our chairman and CEO, and I talked and decided that we should pursue this signature status. And why? Because we would have a field of 70 to 80 players, the very best players in the world, and that leads though to the ultimate goal of giving more to charity and doing more good for our community and community pride, and not just for the state of Connecticut, but for all of New England and the Northeast, because we're the only PGA Tour event in the Northeast this summer. And so when you look at all these benefits to charity, and this will be our 18th year, right? We've given almost $30 million to charity and benefited probably over 1,000 different organizations. And that so fits with who we are, Travelers, because every year, Travelers, we give over $24 million to different organizations, charitable nonprofits, to make sure that they survive and thrive and do really good for our society.
Very, very cool. I want to talk to you a little bit more about the charities, because you mentioned the fact that you guys decided, we're going to be the signature event. We're going to step up to that level. Yeah. I have heard from other title sponsors that they want to ensure that the focus is not simply about being a signature event and the size of the purse and the strength of the field, that the charitable aspect of who they are and what they do is equally as important. Do you share that perspective?
Absolutely. But I look at this in a business perspective, that it's a means to get to the ends, right? And you have to have a business plan, you have to have a strategy, and you have to deliver on it. And I think what's really important here is that having such a strong field is what makes the fans want to come out and participate. Even in the NBA Finals, all those people, all those guys in those teams aren't all the best players in the world. They have a lot of good players and world-class players, but it's the same type of thing. It's where you can come here. I think it's the only sport that you can come see all the best players in the world competing against each other for 4 days.
As a title sponsor then, Andy, because you talked about players, last week, of course, we saw Bryson DeChambeau winning the U.S. Open. We know what is brewing behind the scenes with LIV and the PGA Tour. As a title sponsor, how important is it for you to say, let's just keep moving forward on this and the path that we're on?
Yeah, it's a game, right? It's a sport, and we should have all the best players in the world competing. And I understand, I've been a part of a lot of conversations, but I also talked to Jay Monahan, the commissioner, quite a bit, and I know that this will happen. I know that they will figure it out, and I think that's really important for all of us in the sport to do that. As a matter of fact, when Bryson won the U.S. Open, I sent him a text, and I said, hey, congratulations. Wow, what tough play. What great play. You played some great golf for 4 days, and I'm so proud of you. And, Bryson's always been a huge supporter of the Travelers Championship, as is John Rahm, and the list goes on, and Brooks Koepka. And I can't wait for the day that I can put their names back on the lockers and get them back in here to play.
So awesome. I do want to follow up on the charitable part as well, because you talked about a variety of different charities, but I love to ask you about the Hole in the Wall Game Camp, because it is such a unique place, and it has, I know, been near and dear to the Travelers Championship and to Travelers for a long, long time. Could you talk to the world about why it is so special?
Paul Newman's vision back in the 1980s was to give these young kids who are seriously ill a place to go raise a little hell. And I thought that was a great quote. Leave it to Paul Newman to figure that out. And I go out to camp and I see the kids out there, and they have sickle cell anemia, they have cancers of different types. The list goes on. And it's just terrific what they do. But I think that the beauty of the Travelers Championship is that we give to many charities. And while camp is critically important, we're so focused right now on mental health and on food insecurity and other charities, military, disabilities. But you know, you look at the mental health problems in this country right now, and it shouldn't be. I mean, and we need to do something about it. And food insecurity, are you kidding? I mean, people should know that they can eat and survive and thrive, because if you can't eat, if you can't resolve your mental health issues, you can't thrive. You have to survive, right? And you have to thrive. And to me, that's critically important to what we do here. So we hit so many different charitable organizations that do so much good for so many issues in our society. I think that's what makes me so excited to keep going here and keep doing this and making it bigger and bigger and better and giving more money to charity, because we're helping so many different causes that are so critical to our society and to all of us who are human beings.
You know, Andy, as both as business executive and as an athlete, a former U.S. Olympian, I do want to ask you about something, kind of veering off the golf page for a second. Coach Dan Hurley, I know you're very close with him at UConn. Did it surprise you at all that when he turned down the Lakers and a massive sum of money to stay here and continue to build on what he's already, the foundation he's made?
I know you probably won't believe me, but did it surprise me? No. Dan is a tremendous human being, and he's so driven. And I've lived a big part of my life around driven people. And I kept thinking to myself, a personal one guy's opinion, right, that the LA Lakers going to live in LA, being a businessman, okay, so I'm thinking, well, even if they pay him like $70 million, half of that goes away in taxes. So now you're down to 35. A house in LA costs you a lot more than around here in Connecticut. So that's going to cost you. So I kept doing the math, and I'm sure that's not what he did, but that's what I do. And I think to myself, wow, this is quite a, I'm not sure that I would go there. And so, no, I think that Dan Hurley is a college guy. You look at his father's history of where he stayed to coach through his career. And I think Coach Hurley is just a wonderful human being, but a good guy too. And I think that when he and his coaches, you know, Luke Murray and Kamani and Young and Tom Moore, when you look at the coaching staff there, right, it's all about the team. And the team he's put together is so world class that I think it's second to none. I think they're great people, and you know, whenever we get them out there, they're working hard, I think, for three-peat. Although I keep going, you know, three-peat, what's that mean even in the whole sense of everything? But they're working really hard right now and practicing and trying to get guys ready for the draft and such. And so, but they're very supportive of the Travelers Championship whenever they can be, and we really appreciate it.
Awesome, and we very much appreciate the time, Andy, that you have given us here, hosting us once again here at the Travelers Championship. Super excited about everything that lies in store. Thank you so much for the time. It's always great to see you.
Thanks for all your support over the years. You stuck with us in the early years when we were kind of nobody, and we've built this thing over 18 years with a lot of support, but what you've done to help us here, to make this, means the world to us, and I cannot thank you enough, and you're a great friend.
Appreciate that very much. We'll have more of the Fairways of Life show right after this.
Every January, PGA Tour Superstore pros meet every manufacturer, learn about the latest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together hit over 100,000 balls. All so they can get you the perfect fit.
In Ireland, golf is more than just a game. Come and experience our world-famous links courses and our world-famous parkland courses, all set alongside world-famous scenery. And visit our world-famous historic sites. And while you're here, enjoy our world-famous hospitality. Fill your heart with Ireland at ireland.com/golf.
Ben Hogan Golf Equipment is back. Established in 1953, we serve golfers who demand excellence of their equipment. Designed by the game's best engineers, forged in the world's best foundries, and built to order in the USA. Don't settle for off-the-rack disappointment. Elevate your game with custom clubs at direct-to-consumer pricing. Exclusively at benhogangolf.com. That's benhogangolf.com.
The Gen 6 iron is a culmination of everything that we have learned as a team, the absolute best golf club I've ever hit. It's something special. Say hello to the new PXG Gen 6 iron. The longest, most accurate irons we've ever made. They go higher and farther than any iron that I have hit to date, and they're so easy to hit. Super excited for the consumer to try these. They're gonna love them.
PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Baseball? Nah. Football? Done it. I think I'm gonna go after PGA Tour.
Playing on the PGA Tour is not easy. But you know what is easy? Hitting the 524 series from Tour Edge.
Hitting linebackers and home runs used to be easy.
Out here, you're going to need all the easy you can get. Introducing the 524 series from Tour Edge, the easiest clubs you'll ever hit. Even the best players in the world can use a little easy.
I like the sound of that. Look out, PGA Tour.
Pound for pound, nothing comes close.
Boyne Golf provides the ultimate world-class golf destination with 10 championship-caliber courses spanning 3 resorts. Centered in Michigan's northern Lower Peninsula, the courses are the products of some of the game's masters, including Robert Trent Jones Sr., Arthur Hills, and Donald Ross. From the all-inclusive vacation packages, elite instruction with the Boyne Golf Academy, tournaments, and so much more, Boyne Golf truly offers an unrivaled Michigan golf vacation experience. Just log on to BoyneGolf.com.
Stride by Zero Friction, the first of its kind personal caddy. Walk in comfort and style with Stride's remote and follow me technology. The Stride handles almost any terrain, and its 54-hole range will last all day. The lightweight design and removable front wheels makes it simple to handle. Plus, it easily fits golf carts. Order yours and save. Visit zerofriction.com/stride or scan the QR code to order yours today. Stride, your personal caddy.
As we welcome you back to the Fairways of Life show from wherever you are joining us today, where we are today is right here. That's TPC River Highlands. This drone footage that you're looking at, the 15th green there on the right, that's a drivable par 4. Up on the left, you can see par 4 17th, and then as it continues to fly on its way, you can see 18. This Travelers Championship is a special event for so many different reasons. It is a signature event now. Nathan Grube is the tournament director. Great to see you, Nathan. How much has the designation as a signature event changed the character of the event, if at all?
Well, I would say thanks. Thanks for having me on, Matt. I would say the anticipation is, you can feel it from the crowds to the fans. And so over the last few years, as the tournament was elevated last year and then is designated this year, Andy Bessette from Travelers, he's always wanted this event to continue to get better and better. And after 18 years, if you're continually trying to get better and better, you get to a point where we had this opportunity to be a signature event. And he said, absolutely, we're 100% in, let's do it. So I think there is this expectation from everyone, like, hey, you guys have now gotten this top designation. What are you going to do with it? And so Andy and I kind of feel this pressure of, wow, people better feel it when they come on property. The players, the fans, everyone, that we actually took a step forward. So I think anticipation is the biggest word, excitement of, kind of delivering on a promise that, hey, we want this to be the best event it can be.
That anticipation, that excitement, Andy was just telling us in the last segment that he feels like it is the best PGA Tour event. You've gotten awards in the past that would suggest the exact same thing. But what can you do? How do you step up an event that's been successful for so long and make it even better, given that it's now a signature event?
Well, I would say this. I think the first thing is that there's no better place to work than on the PGA Tour from the standpoint of events, right? I mean, all the tournaments actually work together to help each other. So Andy and I went to, which we always do, 4 or 5 events during the year, and we say, oh, we like what they did here. We like what they did here. We ask questions, and we tournament directors, we all help each other. Hey, here's what I did here. Be careful. Don't do this. This worked. This didn't. So we are all trying to help each other. We don't feel like we compete against one another. We feel like we are always trying to challenge one another. So any idea that you see out here, we probably stole pieces of it from a different tournament. And then ideas that you see elsewhere, I mean, they probably stole from us. But I mean stealing in the flattery, it's like, hey, I like that, I want to steal it. But I think where the challenge comes in is, how do you execute on that idea, right? How do you take that really good idea and actually say, oh, we're going to implement this now? And I think we have a title sponsor that gives us the time, the energy, the resources to actually do these great ideas. I think there's a lot of tournaments that might have ideas, but maybe they don't have all the resources behind them to be able to actually execute the ideas. Travelers has said, we want to build this vision, we want to build these ideas. And from the practice facility to the TrackMan to the huge board that you see out here this year, to the ice cream in the coffee shop, to the cooling benches that we have on property, to all of the open to the public venues, to we did one thing and I had another tournament say, I love it, I'm stealing that next year, and I'm like, yes, great, I love that. So I think as a tour, we all try to help each other get better. I think we're really lucky here that we have a title who gives you the resources to actually bring those ideas to life.
You've been at it for so many years now, being the tournament that follows the U.S. Open. And given in the wake of the U.S. Open, such as it is, I have to ask you the question once again, then, Nathan, how do you turn something that so many events would have looked at as a negative to follow up a major championship? And you guys have spun that on its head and turned it into a positive.
That's a great question. I think you just called me really old when you said you've been here for
ish.
You have ish. Well, it starts with, again, a title who, Andy, and I think your audience knows him as well. Anytime you've had him on, he's like, any challenge is an opportunity to get better. And I think we tried to lean into what the week after the U.S. Open was. Okay, what is it? Why are they tired? Why do they have said historically, I don't want to play the week after the Open? And every idea that came back to us, we went, wait, we can fix that. We can work on transportation from the Open to here. We can handle a better daycare program. We can make this a super fun place for the families. We can make this great for the caddies. We can, every idea that came back to us about why the U.S. Open was so hard, we're like, wait, we can lean into that and actually turn that into a positive. So, there's 25 little things that we did that are kind of almost the opposite of what they experienced last week. And then when you do that, the players feel like you're trying, the players feel like you care, the players feel like you're delivering on a promise, and it becomes very personal to them, like, oh man, Travelers is really making an effort to do these things. So, that was kind of a vague answer, but it was like every reason that we got about why the week after the U.S. Open was difficult it's like we had an answer for it. And so over the years, just chipping away at it, we've kind of gotten here where the field that we have this year being a signature event, the week after the U.S. Open, we love it. We don't want to give up the date. I remember this interview in 2007 when somebody said, I am so sorry you got the week after the Open, and then here we are. Somebody asked me 2 years ago, how did you get so lucky to get the week after the U.S. Open? And it's funny, but it's one of those things where we have always felt that the date was never going to define us. The date wasn't going to make the tournament. We were going to make the date. And who we were and what we were was going to make that date, not the reverse. And just that mentality has helped us chip away at it, and kind of here we are today.
That support, of course, comes not only from the players that Nathan was talking about, but also the community. How has the community continued to step up, especially now that your signature status in terms of volunteers and just everybody from Southern New England and the surrounds of the Northeast enjoying this very, very unique event?
So I guess I'll start with it's the biggest build we've ever had. And what that means, it's the most corporate support we've ever had on this property. Our volunteer committees filled up faster than they've ever filled up before. Ticket sales are outpacing last year. I'm trying to go through all the metrics of hey, how do you measure the community coming out? Well, corporate support, volunteers, tickets. The media support has been phenomenal. We were in, New England, to your point. We're the only event in New England. And so we actually had people calling us from Boston going, hey, yeah, I need to get some tickets. I haven't been there in a couple of years. And then we had, companies out of New York saying, hey, my clients are asking me for tickets to your event. So when you kind of are getting the clients asking the companies for that pull, that you've created something that people want to attend. So the feedback has been awesome. The show this week with the players that are on this stage is going to be magnificent. So I'm very excited for our fans and everybody out here.
Awesome. We are excited too. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for the time. Appreciate you guys hosting us year after year. And this year, of course, the Travelers Championship, as we've noted, a signature status means that it has taken that step forward, and everything along with it, because of these collective efforts, have gotten better and better, as they always do, year in and year out. We'll be back with more of the Fairways of Life show right after this. And when we do, we're going to wrap a bow around the U.S. Open.
I got ball fit in 2000, went on a little run. Then Bridgestone fit me again, and I went on another run. I just got fit again for the new Tour BX. The ball fitting's been helping me. Will it help you?
Boyne Golf provides the ultimate world-class golf destination with 10 championship-caliber courses spanning 3 resorts. Centered in Michigan's northern Lower Peninsula, the courses are the products of some of the game's masters, including Robert Trent Jones Sr., Arthur Hills, and Donald Ross. From the all-inclusive vacation packages, elite instruction with the Boyne Golf Academy, tournaments, and so much more, Boyne Golf truly offers an unrivaled Michigan golf vacation experience. Just log on to BoyneGolf.com.
I think when you're training for other sports, or why most people go to the gym is so that they can have muscles and be strong and be healthy. And a lot of the reason why they struggle to play golf is their body doesn't move properly for them to be able to hit a golf ball. And when you're training for golf, it's a little bit different because you're focused more on flexibility and mobility and being strong in motion. When you're able to kind of have a warm up and have a workout routine and kind of gradually build up to where you're training your body to move properly, yeah, you're going to get a lot of big dividends on the golf course.
Every January, PGA Tour Superstore pros meet every manufacturer, learn about the latest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together hit over 100,000 balls. All so they can get you the perfect fit.
What if we started a company and the company was under no time constraints, no financial constraints? The one constraint is their clubs had to be exceptional performers and much better than any other alternative. I was told time and again it'll never work. It worked like a house of fire. And I'll tell you what, I think our customers love it. BXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Stride by Zero Friction, the first of its kind personal caddy. Walk in comfort and style with Stride's remote and follow me technology. The Stride handles almost any terrain, and its 54-hole range will last all day. The lightweight design and removable front wheels makes it simple to handle. Plus, it easily fits golf carts. Pick up your Stride today at a local PGA Tour Superstore near you or at zerofriction.com/Stride. Stride, your personal caddy.
All right, so there you see Rory McIlroy's statement to the world. Came out late yesterday that he's taking some time off after the events of the U.S. Open. When you look at the schedule, it means that he's taking off this signature event, this Travelers Championship, this week, because after that it's Rocket Mortgage and John Deere, and he'd already be over in Europe in the latter part of that, trying to defend at the Genesis Scottish Open on the DP World Tour. The events that he would otherwise not be participating in, although he hasn't, are the Italian Open, the Dutch Open. So really that statement pertains to here at the Travelers. Dom, I want to bring you in. There's a heat wave going on up here this week, folks. So they're putting out all types of calls to make sure that you stay hydrated, make sure that you stay undercover as much as you can here on the grounds of TPC River Highlands. We've kind of moved a little bit closer to the practice grounds, as you can see from our camera shot here, because today is the massive Pro-Am day, a morning wave and an afternoon wave that they'll be getting ready to partake in coming up in the hours that lie before us. But I'm curious, Dom, did you do a question of the day today with everything that we've been talking about? What is it?
I sure did. Shocking, I know. What a development. And you're not going to believe it. It has something to do with Bryson DeChambeau. Again, another shocker. How many major, and I can't wait to hear our guest is coming up in 2 seconds, what his opinion is about this question. How many major championships do you expect Bryson DeChambeau to finish his career with? I gave 4 options. One is you won't win another one. This is it. 3, 4, or 5+. Do you want some results now, or you want to wait?
No, I'd like him right now. What are the people saying?
Okay, the people are saying, and this surprises me. I don't know why. 5+, 39%. I'm surprised by that. Maybe I shouldn't be.
Well, he's already got 2, so that's why they're saying that. What are the other categories getting in terms of percentages?
32% are saying 4, 18% 3, and 13% won't win another. So I think everyone's in agreement. We can expect Bryson to contend and probably win another 1 or 2 majors. Everyone seems to be in agreement about that. It's just,
at a minimum,
can he get over that 5 threshold and really be an all-timer?
Interesting. Okay, we'll see how that plays out, and I will try to remember to ask my guests that, and I'd like to check in with you on that again before we wrap up today. So Jim Gallagher Jr. is joining us right now. Jim was part of our NBC Sports Family coverage of the U.S. Open in the week that was. His credentials are absolutely stout. He's a 5-time winner on tour. He won the 1993 Tour Championship. He finished in third place at the 91 PGA Championship. He finished in a piece of second at the 92 PGA Championship. He started in an astounding 546 Tour starts, and he had top 10s in 50 of those. You imagine almost 10% of your starts finishing in the top 10 speaks to his prowess and the skill that he took to the course. That was also demonstrated in the fact that he represented the United States on 2 occasions, once on the Ryder Cup and once in the President's Cup as well. Jim, absolute delight to have your company. Thank you for spending some time with us, and welcome as we're broadcasting live from this Travelers Championship this week. I am curious what your thoughts are on Pinehurst #2 as a stage, as a venue for this U.S. Open. Just how hard was that golf course playing?
Well, thanks for having me. In a heat wave, we're in Mississippi, so it's all relative. So I feel for the people up there. So this is every day at home here for the next couple months. But I would say it really, I think the USGA did a very nice job of setting it up. I walked around on Tuesday, and the greens were very spicy. They seemed, we'd heard numbers of 14, 15 on a few of them. They were very firm. And they got to the point of very scary. And if you got any wind, if they would have gotten any wind, it would have been just a disaster. That being said, the wind didn't blow that much. They kept them at a manageable speed. They were still challenging. I think the unique part of it is when you look at the greens from the fairway, they look big, but they play very small because of every edge falling off, the crowns. It's the speed of the greens. But if you made a mistake, you were penalized. Friday's feature group, I had Rory, Scotty, and Xander, and they made 6, 7, 7 on the 5th hole. The 5th hole cost McIlroy the championship. I think he made bogey there a couple times during the week. So, you go back and look at those short putts he missed, but that hole kind of was a disaster. But, there were some guys, several guys finished under par. I mean, you look at the winning score. So, it's different because we're used to U.S. Open with a lot of rough. And the fairways were fairly generous. I walked some of them off 37, 40 yards wide. But they played a little smaller, too, because some of the edges kind of fell off into the native area. And as Ben Crenshaw told me 10 years ago, the stuff, as he referred to it as. They added a lot more of the native area, the grasses, the different types there. I'm not going to try to name all 70-some. But I know I saw some pretty bad lies, and I saw some guys have some decent lies. It seemed like the guys who played aggressive, overly aggressive, were penalized coming out of there. Some would call it a game of luck, but a lot of times the game is kind of luck, a lucky kick here, lucky break there. But sometimes it was, I thought it would be 50-50 getting a decent lie. I mean, they never had perfect lies. But, it was an interesting play when you look at the 18th hole. When you look at some of the finishing holes, 14, 15, 16 just kicked them in the teeth. 17 was difficult depending on the hole location. 18 was interesting. It wasn't a long hole compared to some of the other par 4s, but the fairway played fairly narrow. And, you were hitting this. But, in the long run, Bryson he played great. His interaction with the crowd, the Payne Stewart spirit, the SMU connection. You go through. I believe in that stuff. I truly believe a lot in that, and he believed in it, and there was something to it. And I think the fans were out, great support. It was steamy hot, and the hard part is when you're walking around there. I know Sissy, my wife, was there for a couple of days, ruined a couple pairs of shoes like everybody else. You're walking in the sand, but the sand is reflecting the heat. And it was like that, nearly every day. But the bunker shot that he hit on 18. Oh, my goodness. We talk about it being the toughest shot, hands down, to do it in that, and phenomenal. One of the best shots we'll see in the final shot or final get it up and down. Payne had to get it up and down to win. I'm sitting there watching in my room. I had just gotten back from finishing up coverage, and I'm giving Sissy the play-by-play. I said, that is unbelievable. But you still got to make a putt, and he did. But, great champion. It's really changed a lot. Happy for him. He's good. He's what golf needs right now. We needed this kind of a championship, but he's embraced it all. I don't know that he did it early on in his career. He's worked very hard, and he's a well-deserving champion, no question about it.
Hey, Jim, let's go back to that shot out of the bunker, because you're the first person that at least I've had a chance to talk to at your caliber to say, take us through exactly how he played that shot. He intimated that he was trying to hit a chunk and run, that his miss was going to be short of the flag, but this thing came out so exceptionally well. Give us some expert analysis for people at home of how this shot was executed.
Well, he went with a 55-degree, call it a sand wedge, and I think that's the key. He was kind of down on the flat. The key to that is not getting too steep, not coming in too steep. I always kind of felt like I used my arms, my upper body, the big muscles to hit that, and kind of coming in, like a kind of a normal shot. But you see, it took it a little bit outside. He caught it clean, and because it doesn't have loft, it's going to come out usually a little bit lower. He still had to get the ball up in the air, but he hit it on the downslope. It came out, and that's a shot. A lot of people, you have to go practice that. That's a feel shot. But the biggest thing to me, and I would tell anybody listening, and I've helped some younger players with it, is just don't get steep with it. You kind of take it back a little bit lower, take it back straight back a little bit with that, gap wedge, even a pitchy wedge. I mean, when you look at the great Chi Rodriguez, he would make you hit 9-irons out of the bunker to learn how the club goes through the sand to hit those shots. So that's what I would suggest. Go out there and practice those. That's a shot. If he doesn't have the lip, he could even hit that with a pitching wedge or a 9-iron with left loft, because it's going to get into the sand. It's not going to dig down as much as long as you don't get steep. But he said he practiced it. Very few people do. We all talk about how difficult it is, but very few of us actually go out and practice. But to do it on that stage, crazy good.
Crazy good. I'm not sure if there's any irony in asking you this question, but I think there's legitimacy in it, and that is Bryson DeChambeau right now in this moment, is he right now the most popular player in the world?
Popular? Could be, yeah. Based on what I saw, I mean, look how he celebrated with everybody. He really did. He took it all in, and I would say this about it. He came on with Smiley, I think it was Friday, and I wasn't sure how that was going to work in the U.S. Open, but he kind of embraced that. He came in, and he was just being himself. He's enjoying the moment. I think in the past, as we're young, we get caught up in things. We get angry at things we don't understand. But he reminded me maybe he took the spirit of Payne Stewart, and that's what Payne Stewart was, showman. But he also, when it was time to focus in on the shot, he was able to do it. But, you look at the pictures of the people. I mean, there aren't many people, players, I could name very few, less than on one hand, who have gone through the people like that and celebrated with him. That's how you become popular. And he talked about being on his YouTube channel, and that's the new way these younger players are doing, and these guys are doing it. They're trying to connect with the people out there. And he connected with them. He for some reason, they were really pulling for him because he was speaking to him. And I think that's one of the things we get caught up in our world playing, and you're always taught to focus. But occasionally, Phil Mickelson did it. Arnold did it. You acknowledge the fans who are paying hundreds and thousands of dollars to come out there and watch you play. Acknowledge them. Just every once in a while. Now, there are some really stupid things said to players. I promise you, walking down the fairway. There's some great things, people encouraging you, and you have to block out some of it. But just every once in a while, acknowledge them. But to walk out there with the people like that, I thought, and then he jumps in on the set with Johnson Wagner, who it's documented the struggles he's had with that. And that was some of the best TV. Like I'm saying, there's very few people would have hung around like that afterwards, spent the time, and enjoy the moment. This is what it's all about. You're at the pinnacle now. You've spent all this time working on your game, and now you're getting 2 U.S. Opens. Phenomenal. 3 USGA events, championships he's won. It just, the cards are always kind of in there. I always believe that. There was something to the Payne Stewart spirit. I told my wife that Friday. I said, Bryson's going to win because there's something about Payne Stewart, Pinehurst, 18th hole. Something's going on there.
No doubt. As I'm asking this question, we're going to play the video of Rory McIlroy, of course, missing some critical putts down the stretch. We opened this segment with, of course, the news from yesterday that Rory's going to take a couple of weeks to contemplate, essentially meaning that he's going to miss the Travelers Championship here. But with what you saw with Rory McIlroy down the stretch, I know it's harsh to ask you this question, but it's the honest question that needs to be asked. Did Rory McIlroy choke in that final round coming into Sunday?
I would say the pressure might have gotten to him. Look at the putt he hit on the last hole, how the putter came up. You don't miss short putts. I think mentally that's a big part of that. Hey, I've been there. I've never been to Rory's level, but I've blown tournaments. Call it a choke, call it whatever you want. I'll just relive a story. I mean, it's Tucson. It's early on in Phil Mickelson's career. It's my tournament to win. I've got it in the middle of the fairway on 18. I block it out to the right. I 3-putt. I remember missing that putt, and I was sick to my stomach walking off to that green, knowing that I should have at least won or been in a playoff. And I remember signing my card, and I think it was ESPN. They wanted to do the interview, and I said, man, I can't do it. I can't do it. And they said, you got to do it. And so I said, give me a minute. Give me a minute to kind of get my – and I thought my dad would have killed me had I not stayed around to do the interview, as much as that hurt, as much pain as that was. And, I did the interview. And I'll tell you what, I didn't sleep for weeks, months, until I got right back in contention. I remember that the Players' Championship, which you look back February to the end of March, and my wife finally just said, Jim, you're going to have to get it together. You're not sleeping. You're all upset about what you did 8 weeks ago. You can either sit here and dwell on this, or you can just buckle up and get back in and get on that horse that threw you off. And I think
Rory is definitely resilient too, Jimmy. I don't think there's any doubt about that. We've reached the top of the hour, my friend. Thank you very much for the time that you've spent with us. Thank you for all the hard work you and everybody else did as part of our NBC Sports family, bringing the world the U.S. Open. It was great to chat with you today.
All right. Appreciate you having me on. Stay cool up here if you can.
Yeah, I'm trying to. We're trying to. He's talking about the weather up here.
Wear a black shirt.
Just for a little while. Only up here in Connecticut, where it is very, very warm for the Travelers Championship. We'll be here for the rest of the week as well. Looking forward to your company with that. Thank you for your company today, folks. Bye for now.